Karmelo Anthony situation. I'm tired of people playing stupid with this situation like we don't know the Metcalf brothers were being bullies. We got two individuals who are 6 feet 6'1", 200 plus pounds, and you got Karmelo Anthony around 5'8", 5'9", between 140, 150 pounds. They are significantly bigger than Karmelo Anthony. Do you think their actions would have been the same if Karmelo Anthony was this guy? Zaydon Walker, the #1 linebacker in the class of 2025, 6'1", 225. People are more likely, or especially individuals like that, are more likely to pick on smaller individuals. It's just common sense. They pick on the weaker individuals. If Karmelo Anthony would have been a bigger individual, 6'1", 6'2", 225 up to 260, if he would have been one of those linemen that throw shot put that we see at the track and field events, they wouldn't have had the same reaction. And that's just common sense. No one can convince me otherwise. So people playing dumb like we don't know that they were the aggressors, like we don't know that they started this and they could have avoided the whole situation. You need to wake up and face reality. Stop looking at individuals like myself who see the situation for what it was, self-defense, or at best, you give him a manslaughter charge and you give him, say, 3 to 5 years. He was under the tent. There's new eyewitness testimony of people who saw the video that says he was under that tent for 10 minutes before they came over there, before the Metcalf brothers came over there.
From the moment she pressed play, Karmelo Anthony was already sitting up underneath that canopy. And he was sitting there for at least 8 to 9.5 minutes. I saw a boy in a black hoodie go over to him first, and then they left out of the tent. And then you see coming across the field was another 6 boys.
The same person also says he tried to leave the tent but was pulled back in at one point when he was trying to leave, when they were pushing him. But he was pulled back in. He ran down the bleachers. He fell. They were chasing him. He got up and ran.
Out of frame, and the other one sat at the bottom. But the remaining 4, they went directly to Karmelo Anthony. And like T said before, it was a brief conversation, and then all you see is commotion. And we know from the interviews that Hunter did, we know that Hunter was, in fact, up underneath that tent. The next thing you see, you can see Karmelo in the midst of them assaulting him. You can see Karmelo trying to back out, but he gets pulled back forward. The next thing you see is Karmelo. He comes shooting out the back, but he's still not standing. And he had to kind of crab crawl backwards, and he had to jerk away from them because they still had a hold of his hoodie. He goes up a couple bleachers and he's looking around for which way to go. He runs diagonally down the bleachers and then he falls. At the time of him falling, that's when I noticed another 3 boys coming down the bleachers chasing after him. But once Karmelo got up, he took off. You didn't see him for the rest of the video.
This is a person who said to the Metcalf brothers, or Austin Metcalf, don't touch me. Just don't touch me. Then he gets pushed, shoved, whatever you want to do it. We don't know how aggressive it was, but hands were put on him. Then he stabbed this guy. He stabbed this Austin Metcalf brother 1 time. People are acting like he took off with the knife and stabbed him repeatedly, 7 to 8 times. He stabbed him 1 time, then ran. That's a person who's trying to get out of a situation from a bigger individual, just trying to defend themselves. People acting like, oh, well, people shouldn't carry around. First of all, he had a tool that's a multifaceted tool. I carry around a multifaceted tool where I could use for many different things. To start a fire in the woods, it cuts spline, it cuts seatbelts, it cuts different things. So you could have a tool that can be used for different things. He had one of those on him that was legal, or you could have one for self-defense. Big deal. He's a small individual. Being smart is having a tool to defend yourself against bigger individuals. Even someone like myself, I'm not trying to fight someone who's 6'8", 300 pounds, and I'm a 4th degree black belt. I've trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, 4th degree black belt in Judo, Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. I've done boxing. I've done several arts. I know how to fight. I'm not trying to fight the biggest individuals and strongest individuals in the world. If I get into a conversation and my back is against the wall and I tell them to leave me alone and they don't leave me alone, I'm going to be extremely violent. You have to be extremely violent with bigger individuals. That's just common sense. That's why we have weight classes in mixed martial arts. Bigger individuals, even against a more skilled, smaller individual, is harder to defeat. So people got to use common sense and stop playing these stupid games. They were picking on him because he was an easier target. He defended himself, one stab wound, self-defense, trying to get out of the situation, and that's the way it should be handled. All right. People acting like they don't know better. You got this stupid idiots like Stephen A. Smith calling it murder. Please run down to me how it's murder. That's like if I'm standing here knowing I have mixed martial arts training, knowing I know how to fight, and we're having a disagreement, and you're yelling at me, hey, you better, I'm going to slap you. And I say, don't slap me. You better not slap me. You slap me, you're going to see what happens to you. Then you slap me, and then I grab you and body slam you on your neck. And then I break your neck and you're a vegetable, or I end up, killing you with the trauma, head trauma. Am I now guilty of murder? And then some people are going to say, well, you're using your hands, you're not using a weapon. I have training. I know what I'm going to do to you. Me knowing in my mind that I have this training that I'm going to use on you if you touch me. Someone could say that that's premeditated if you're trying to take this whole angle. Again, that would be one slam, not me doing the most aggressive things and choking you out or rear naked choke or anything like that. Just one slam, hey, to stop your attack. The whole takeaway from this should be don't put your hands on people. People playing dumb like they don't know that are killing me. To add on to the situation, we've now heard the statements from the Metcalf brothers' father. The whole racist remarks, racist statements of watermelon felon and stuff like that.
Squeaky clean. He's the only one in your family without a damn record. I guess that's something to brag about in your culture. You people hang your hat on the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Let me make one up. Y'all can let me make something racist up so y'all can go viral. I got a new name for Mello, okay? Because he was such this little boy y'all were trying to portray. How about watermelon felon? How's that one strike you? I hope he enjoyed his first night in that cell last night.
And I want to hear the people come on here and try to defend the statements of the father making the racist remarks and things that he said. Oh, well, he just said that because, he wanted to go viral. No, he's a grown man. He knows and he should control what comes out of his mouth at being 40 plus, 50 plus years of age. He knows not to say those racist remarks. He should know, unless he wants to say it because it's part of who he is. And we know the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. So if that is the man who is responsible for raising them or took part in raising them to any degree, you think that's the first time he had racist remarks? You think that's the first time he said something racist? You don't think he said it around them? You don't think they caught wind of those things and it was somehow ingrained in them? Watermelon felon? That's just ridiculous. So I want to hear you all come on here and try to defend this. This is just more evidence that makes it clear that Karmelo Anthony was defending himself against racist teenagers who were the same age as him, who were bigger, stronger. They had fighting skills trained, and then they saw someone who they could pick on and use this size advantage against, and then it went left because he was able to defend himself with a weapon that he had on him.